eagle in the dark, feathers in the pages, monkeys in my heart, rattling their cages, found a way to blue, another ghost to follow, said it's only up to you. It's the hardest pill to swallow. You never get to choose. You live on what they sent you, and you know they're gonna use things you love against you. One foot in the grave.
Guys, I hope all of you had a great weekend and that you're all energized to attack the new week. So I'm back again with my second video, and the topic for today is the benefits of solo travel. So if you guys are new on my page, and if you just subscribe and don't really know about me and what I do, I'm a traveler. So I traveled to about 13 countries in total since 2012. So I have a blog where I write about my travels. I have also an Instagram page, Take Me There, where I share all my travel experiences, and it's basically my passion. So since I started traveling around the world, in 2 times I went somewhere alone. The first time was when I was studying abroad, and I went to Barcelona alone. And then the second time was last summer. I went to Thailand alone for 9 days. So the reaction that I get most of the time when people come to me is that, oh my God, how can you find the courage to just go somewhere just like that and just be alone without knowing anybody over there? And how do you do it? I would never be able to do that. So I've been thinking, and I felt like making a video about it because I know it's something that might seem scary at first, but I will never stop saying how great of an experience traveling solo is, really. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about why I decided to take my first trip alone to Barcelona. So when I went to Finland in January 2013 to study abroad, I just decided to put some money on the side because my school gave us some money. It was really great. They just gave you some money for your travel expenses and everything, and an extra money if you had the Canadian citizenship, which I had. So I had a few extra bucks to just put on the side and just travel around Europe. And as some of you know, traveling in Europe is really cheap, so it was really great. But then most of the time I traveled with either my roommate or with groups of friends, or I just went and met somebody over there that I knew already. But before I left, I just decided to save just one trip to go by myself. And the reason why I decided to do that is because I felt like this year when I was studying abroad, I was really getting to know myself. And it was the first time that I've been traveling to all of these places in a short period of time, and I was finally feeling like I was discovering the world. And it was a new feeling to me because I've always been a curious person. I've always been really open to everything that was new. But for the first time, I was actually living something like it. And honestly, it was really amazing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to save this one trip for myself, for me to have a great experience before I go back home. So I decided to save Barcelona because I heard so many great things about it, and I just knew that it would be the perfect destination to go by myself. So after I traveled to 9 countries, I decided to go to Spain alone. I booked my flight, and my mom was super scared. She was like, "Are you out of your mind? Like, why would you do something like that? You're just crazy." And I was so sure about what I was doing that I was just like, okay, so maybe I should just lie to her and tell her that I'm going with someone. So I did lie to her, but at the last minute, I was like, "Oh, my friend canceled, so I'm going alone." Oops. Don't do that. But this is what I had to do because my mom, she worries a lot and everything. So then in May 2013, I went to Barcelona by myself, and it was so exciting. I was in the plane with my little book, looking at all the things I would do the next day, and I booked my hostel, and it turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life. It was honestly so great. I met a group of people over there. We went out, and the thing is that in Barcelona, everything makes you feel at home. You can go to a random restaurant and the owner will come and drink beer with you and ask you if he can eat tapas with you. It's like everybody's so warm and welcoming. You never feel alone over there. And the second trip that I took by myself was the one in Thailand. And it was after I volunteered in India. So I just went to Thailand before going back home. And again, it was one of the most amazing time. And unlike Barcelona, I didn't really get to hang out with a group of people I met at the hostel. It was more of a just me, myself, and I time because I was finishing my book and I was just living so many things spiritually. Because in Barcelona, it was more party spirit, meet people, and have fun, you know? But in Thailand, I was in a different phase of my life, and I really needed to be alone and to have more time with God and just finish writing my book and get the inspiration for the last pages. And it was, again, amazing. So, this is a brief summary of my 2 trips alone. But the main purpose of this video is really to encourage you to take the leap of faith and to go somewhere alone. You're not crazy if you're thinking about doing it. You're not out of your mind, and it's not weird at all. So there are 3 main benefits when you travel alone. So I took some notes in my phone just so I don't forget anything. Wait a second. Okay, so the main benefits of solo traveling. So the first one is to really know yourself. I know it will sound really cliche, oh, take a journey to know yourself, get to know yourself better, and blah, blah, blah. I know you read it 1,000 times maybe in books and blogs, but it's a really important thing. You might think that you know yourself, but until you've done something where you're just alone with just you, I don't think that you know yourself 100%. When you go to another country and decide, not necessarily another country, but even if you decide to go to another city just by yourself for the weekend or a week and just do something out of your comfort zone, you get to really know yourself because you get to experience some things and you get to know what you really like, what you really want. When you travel with someone, you have to think about yourself, but you also have to think about that other person who's traveling with you. And you might not realize it, but you don't really get to spend the time with yourself that you need. When you travel with someone else, you have to think not only about yourself, but you also have to think about that person, what that person wants to do, what that person thinks, what that person wants to try. And it's all good. It's really good to travel and group and to do all of these things. But the thing is that it's really different when you really want to get to know yourself. So traveling alone makes you spend time with yourself. It's like quality time with yourself to see what you enjoy doing and how you see the world. Because sometimes if you're with somebody else, you might get a little distracted about what they want to do and what they think about this or about that. But being alone in a country or a city that you don't know is the most amazing thing, in the sense that you get to take a walk and just see how you react to certain things, how you talk to strangers, what restaurants you want to taste, how it's like to sit alone and have a lunch with just yourself. And it might sound creepy and lonely, but it's really not. It's really fun, and you really get to really analyze the things around you and see how your spirit, how yourself, you respond to all of this. And that's one of the main great things. The second thing is to challenge yourself. Just one example is that when I used to travel with my roommate, I used to get so lazy because I hate reading maps. I was just like, maps are just not my thing, and I don't get how people read maps. So we would just get there and I would just give the map to her and she would just find the hostel. And maybe if there was something that she couldn't read on the map, I would just ask a random stranger, because she was more like, oh my God, we have to read the map. And I was more just like, why don't we just ask somebody? I don't mind talking to people. Why don't we just ask? She was just like, no, let's just try to figure it out. I'm like, girl, no. I'm not going to waste 5 minutes trying to look for a little dot on the map when I can just ask this nice stranger walking by. And we were just really different, and that's just how I am. But the thing is that when I arrived in Barcelona, I had a map. And as badly as I wanted to just give it to someone, it was just not possible because I was alone, and I would just not give a random stranger my map and expect him to just take me to my hostel, you know? So I had to read the map myself, and I was so surprised. I got to my hostel. I would never imagine that me and Sophie would really be able to read a map and just get from one point to another. I mean, I don't know. If you're really good with reading maps, it's just that some people are just not map people. So the third thing is to see more than yourself. Remember in the first video, I talked about the importance of loving others and helping them and learning from other people. This is the most important thing in life. You might have all the knowledge in the world. You might be a bookworm and know everything from A to Z that's written in the book. But your best teacher is people around you. Life with all of its people, their way of thinking, their way of seeing things, their way of facing challenges, their way of basically being themselves. Because sometimes we get so caught up in our little person and what we want and how we see things and what we like and us, that we kind of forget that the world is filled with people different than us. And even being in a relationship shows you that my way of seeing things is not like how another person will see something. And you have to compromise and you have to embrace the differences. And it's not only about relationships, it's about living with others in general. And it's really an important thing to learn as you grow internally, externally, whatever you're going through in life. Whenever you feel like you need some kind of growth, this is a really important thing to experience. And doing that in another country alone allows you to really see how yourself can deal with other people and their way of seeing things. Like, I met a girl when I was in Thailand, and I met this group of young people when I was in Barcelona, and I just felt like I was myself, just knowing them. And I was like, yeah, I really think I'm a people person. Because it's always easy to be a people person if you're at a party and you're just having a great time, and you just have to be a people person because it's just on the moment. But what happens when you're just in another country and you're just alone in your room and you just meet somewhere from Africa or from Asia or from the Middle East, and that just comes and maybe that person is shy and doesn't talk. So you get to see how you react. Am I going to be willing to make the first step to say hi? And how do I embrace the differences? Am I rude? Like you might think that you're the nicest person in the world, but you realize that when it comes to someone who has a different culture than yours, you're really rude. You don't know how to adapt. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to manage the differences. And that's such a great experience to make, because you get not only to know yourself, but you also get to know about others and how you interact with others. If today you really want to take a trip by yourself, I really, really encourage you. And I'm a travel planner, so I get to have clients who want to see the world on their own or just take a week trip for their birthday or whatever the reason is. I get to see these people so excited and so scared at the same time just to make this experience for the first time. And they come to me and they're like, oh, I know you did that before, so I think that you're gonna be a good person to help, so that's why I reach out to you. And I get so excited, and it's like it starts like big excitement, and then when they really realize that it's happening, they get a little stressed out and they're like, are you sure? Are you sure that I'm not gonna get lost? Or all kinds of questions. And if that's you today, I'm just telling you that it's completely normal. You're gonna have a mix of emotions. Sometimes you're gonna be really excited when planning the trip, and then you're gonna get scared and you're gonna get anxious, and you're gonna ask yourself, am I even going to meet people? What if nobody likes me? What if I feel lonely? What if I miss my family? But you know, you'll never know if you never try. And there is a quote that I really like who said that you can never become a skilled sailor if you never lose sight of the shore. And it illustrates many things in life where you're just okay and you think that you think that you're fine with the way you are. You think that, oh, I'm perfect. I don't need to grow more. I don't need to experience more. Girl, what? I'm not going to try octopus or whatever. I'm just fine the way I am. And you stay in a box and you think that you know the world and you think that you know people. But no, you don't. Until you really get out of your comfort zone, until you really challenge yourself and see how I know the world. How do I see the world? How do I love people? How do I experience things? How do I react when a food looks really weird but everybody's telling me, oh, try it, it's good, and everybody eats that every day here? How do I react? Do I really know myself? So it's a challenge, and you will never come back the way you were. You will always come back richer, because you will know yourself better, you will learn more, you will experience more, you will see more. And that's one of the greatest treasures in life, just growing and experiencing the world around us. Because I think that it would be really sad to have such a beautiful world with so many diversities and just stay in the box and think that we know it all and we have it all. And there's another quote that I really like that says that traveling makes you humble. It makes you realize how small of a space you occupy in the world. And it's true, because you might think that you're really important and all that, but you're really not. There's millions of other people who see things differently and from whom you can learn, and they can learn from you too, actually. So if you think that you're so great and that you know so many things, why don't you go out there and share it with people? So, okay, this video is coming to an end. So I hope it really spoke to you. If ever you want to just grow in general and take a trip alone, and if ever you're scared or excited, no matter how you feel about it, just telling you to go for it, because you will never regret it. See you in 2 weeks.
Eagle in the dark, feathers in the pages, monkeys in my heart.